And take traits from him that I don't.
Serious.
Close-ups. Close-ups.
Previously on the MDNA.
Come over here. Where's the hot spot? Just a white person.
Okay, I just want to stand my middle, Jim.
Everybody here? Yes? Yes. Palos, are you all here? Get in, come on, we're waiting on the palos as usual. Oh, French people, they're always late. So, Jean-Michel wanted to say the prayer 3 prayers ago, but because Nikki was from New Orleans, he didn't. And then, because it was his birthday, and then he wanted to say it last time, but Michelle was from Kansas City, so he didn't. And he wanted to say the prayer tonight, but he can't, because I'm going to say it. Sorry. That shit better be good when we get there.
Colombia.
Right. So, I looked outside my window today, and it was kind of a depressing moment. Super gray and ugly buildings, and I just went, oh shit, this is like the apex of the low end of the Richter scale of excitement on this tour for sure. And then, of course, I sat and I meditated and I said I have to get some kind of joy out of being here, because how can I get on stage and perform and bring joy into people's lives, and how can I be a leader if I can't find joy in this place, in this moment? And then I just started to think about all the people that I'm working with and how special everybody is. And then I thought, okay, the reason this place is exciting is because we're here and we're special. And then I started to get happy about that. And fire it up with the kind of energy that I need to be fired up with to go on stage and entertain thousands of people. And then, of course, I heard about certain circumstances that have occurred. I don't want to get into details, but I wanted to share a few things. And that is that the idea of religious behavior or being a slave to things. Actually, they don't sound like they're related, but they actually are. What is religious behavior? Religious behavior is when you do things, but you do it without thinking about it. You just do it. It's like you're like a robot. You just do it. You go through the motions, but your heart's not in it. You do it because it's like trick-or-treating. Why are you trick-or-treating? Because everybody does it. You know, it's like one of those things. Why are you eating turkey on Thanksgiving? Because everybody does it. Religious behavior is behavior that we are all guilty of without thinking, without consciousness. And slavery is not just when we take away a man's humanity and buy and sell a body and think that it's our possession to do what we want with it. But slavery is when we are enslaved by things, by people, by thoughts. We could be a slave to smoking weed. We can be a slave to sex. We can be a slave to wanting people's approval. We can be a slave to money. Whenever we think we can't live without something, or when we are controlled by something, we're a slave to it. So it's important to, I would like to ask all of you to try, from now until the rest of this tour, to go through your day and try not to be a slave to anything. And try not to be religious in your thinking or your behavior, because it does affect everybody, and often for the worse. There are all kinds of ways we hurt each other. Of course, we're human beings and we make mistakes. And hopefully we learn from our mistakes. But there are lots of forms of bloodshed. You could hit somebody and draw blood. That's wrong. You could say hurtful words and bring blood to their face and humiliate them in front of people. That's wrong too. That's also a form of bloodshed. You could speak evil tongue about somebody and cause them pain and ruin their reputation and do a character assassination on them. And that's a form of murder. Just like shooting somebody with a gun. So, I beg all of you to think, not only before you act, but before you speak. Because your words and your actions have an effect not only on the person that you acted towards, but on the group. You bring the group down. And right now, we need to go up, not down. So, let's all try to be more conscious of our behavior and our actions. And also wanted to share another thing with you. That is, it's no coincidence that last weekend was the big flood in New York. The Torah reading, the portion of the Torah reading was the flood of Noah and when Noah built the ark. And why did that happen? Well, at that time, people were behaving in such a negative way. They weren't respecting the earth. And God kept warning Noah and kept warning Noah and kept warning Noah. And he kept saying something bad is going to happen. You've got to enlighten people, because at the time he was the most enlightened person. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, Noah saved his own ass. He built an ark. He collected all the animals. He got his wife and kids, and they all got on the boat and they survived. This week's portion is about Abraham. Now, Abraham underwent a series of tests. He went through 10 tests, and he passed all of them, and that is why he became the father of all religions, the patriarch that we all know about. And one of the tests that he passed, or that he went through, was his circumcision. I know I've been going on about circumcision, but this is, well, no mistakes. No coincidences. He and his wife Sarah could not have a child, and finally at the age of 91, he was circumcised. And everybody knows that when you have surgery, the third day is the most painful, right? That's when it hurts the most, wherever you got cut. So on the third day, instead of sitting on his tent, in his tent, feeling sorry for himself, he went out and he helped people. He helped a person in need on the road. He helped a person, he went to find food for somebody who didn't have food. I mean, there's all kinds of stories about what he did instead of feeling sorry for himself, instead of just thinking about himself. So the difference between Noah and Abraham is that when the shit hit the fan, Noah just thought about himself and said, okay, what can I do to save my own ass? And when the shit hit the fan for Abraham, he went out and he said, what can I do to save everybody else? And that is why he is who he is. So, another thing to think about. Do you want to go through life like Noah? Or do you want to go through life like Abraham? Do you want to just think about yourself and your own needs and how to save your own ass? Or do you want to help the person standing next to you or a person in need even when you're feeling down? In fact, the greatest way to get out of depression, sadness, and feeling sorry for yourself is actually to be of service to others and to come to the rescue of other people. So that's the second thing I wanted to bring up. It's funny how when you say prayers with people, the person's next to you gets a real arm workout. Sorry about that. Lastly, we're all, I know, This includes me. I sent a pin the other day to Guy Osiris saying, I just want to sleep in my own bed. We're all a little bit homesick. I know we're far from home, and we're at the point of the tour where it's getting hard. But let's just all remember that we all have homes to go to. There's a lot of people in New York who lost their homes. Rockaway Beach was destroyed. Parts of New Jersey are underwater. Staten Island destroyed, covered with water. I mean, parts all of Long Island, near the sea, near the ocean. Actually, there was a lot of destruction. People died. People lost their homes. And a good percentage of Manhattan is still without electricity. So let's remember how lucky we are. Chelsea Piers, by the way, I saw pictures of it. It's completely underwater. So where we were practicing, that's a swimming pool, okay? And a dirty one. So think about that. Think about how lucky we are. Try to remember all the things I've said to you right now, because I'm trying to say things without saying things. At the end of the day, I do love all of you. And I'm happy that you are all here. And I'm sorry that you've all been challenged the way that you've been challenged. But on the other hand, I'm not sorry, because shit had to happen the way it had to happen, because y'all got to grow up. I have to grow up. So that's it. Let's go outside. Let's go out there on the stage to, where are we, St. Louis? People of St. Louis. I'm sure they'll be fat and dressed funny, but they're human beings and they need to be inspired, and we're here to do that for them. Okay, so, amen. Have a great day.